Well, hey, Aaron Flint here. We are back for Ag Celebration Week here with the Billings Chamber of Commerce, of course, sponsored by Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative. You know, we're taking inside some pretty cool restaurants. We're talking Montana beef, we're talking Montana pork, we're talking Montana lamb, all that good stuff, and some other ag products thrown in there. But why not sip on some Montana whiskey from a Montana farm, from a guy who grew up on the farm, turning those products into whiskey and vodka and gin. You know, Billings has kind of been referred to as Montana's Trailhead. Well, we're here at Trailhead Spirits with the owner and founder, Casey McGowan. Casey, great to see you. Thanks for letting us pop in here.
Absolutely, good to have you by today.
We've got the, for those, we'll get this out of the way right out of the bat. This is the Highwood chocolate flavored whiskey.
That's correct, yeah. It's a unique product that was one of the products that was a happy accident. We didn't intend to make a flavored whiskey when we started out. We were making a wheat whiskey, which was 90% wheat and then 10% of black and crystal malt. And the black malt actually lent a little bit of inherent chocolate-esque as it was coming off the still. So we continued to make the wheat whiskey, but what we've done is each year we select a few of the whiskey barrels that had more of the chocolate-esque flavor from that black malt, and we'll set them aside, and we add dark roasted cocoa nibs and vanilla beans to the barrel for another year to get to kind of accentuate the chocolate flavor, and we created a flavored whiskey on accident, and it's one of our top sellers.
Many people got to know and love Trailhead Spirits first for your Great North vodka and your Healy's gin. There's a lot of Highwood names now, the Highwood wheat whiskey, the Highwood rye malt whiskey, and then of course the Highwood chocolate whiskey that we've got here. Folks from north central Montana and in the Great Falls area certainly know the name Highwood. Talk about the significance of Highwood to Trailhead Spirits.
Well, you know, we took a lot of pride in naming our products for significance, and the fact that I grew up in Highwood. Still a lot of people in the country don't even know where the heck Highwood is and never heard of it unless you're a small town kid, then you kind of know where it's at. But anyway, yeah, we grew up there. My great-grandfather homesteaded there in 89. Still have the place, and my dad still runs the place, leases part of it to my cousin, and you know, get up there quite a bit and to help out, fixing fence and busting up corrals and putting new posts in and doing some harvest and things like that. So it's kind of fun to really bring the pride of the fact that I grew up in a small town in north central Montana in this little town called Highwood, and just really proud of that community, and wanted to try and accentuate it.
Well, this is really cool. This is about more than just, you know, featuring a cool Montana business story using Montana products, but this is you really doing value-added agriculture, kind of being a mover and shaker in the ag industry and taking those farm-to-table products. You know, let's take your wheat from the farm in Highwood and let's put it into a product that you're manufacturing right here in Montana, and then you're selling right here in Montana.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole point of it, was to bring some value-added processes to the farm products that we have. And you know, of our products that we make, the vodkas and gins are 100% wheat, and then the wheat whiskey and the chocolate whiskey, like I referred to earlier, are 90% wheat. The rye doesn't have any wheat, it's 100% rye, and when I approached my dad about growing some rye on the farm, he was a hard no, that they've been trying to get rid of the wild rye for 100 years and he's not going to grow me some rye. So anyway, so that's the only product that doesn't have wheat in it, but all the rest are either 100 or 90% wheat. And then I do have one new product that came out with in June of this year, and it was a 6-year-old whiskey that we made in 2013 and released our first barrel here this year, and it was 60% wheat and 40% a cherrywood smoked malt, and kind of created a really unique Scotch-esque, smoky, malty product. So, yeah.
Deep roots in Montana agriculture here with Casey McGowan and Trailhead Spirits. In fact, his great-grandpa, Frank McGowan, was a homesteader up in Highwood. That's where the family farm is now. But you've got even deeper roots. I mean, additional deep roots on top of that. Healy's gin, that a lot of people know you for here at Trailhead Spirits, has some roots in Butte, Montana.
It does, yeah. My other great grandfather on my mom's side was an Irish immigrant who landed in Butte and owned several bars in southwestern Montana. His most famous bar, his biggest bar, was called the Radio Bar in Butte. And when he sold that bar, the actual back bar, that was an old Brunswick that came up the Missouri and was offloaded in Fort Benton, and then they took it cart and buggy to Butte. It's now in the historic Pioneer Bar in Virginia City. So if you've ever been to Virginia City, it's just the old town, looks like your turn of the century town with the boardwalks and everything like that. And the bar in there, the Pioneer Bar, the actual back Brunswick bar was my great grandfather's. So
Wow.
it's kind of cool. And then, during Prohibition, he was a fairly well-known bootlegger and moonshiner. So kind of the combination of the two families coming together with the agricultural wheat growing roots from our farm in Highwood, and then my other great grandfather being a bootlegger and moonshiner during Prohibition, and kind of put everything together. And the more I kept researching this idea, it just seemed to make logical sense to be something that I kind of followed the history of my great grandfathers.
So there you go. You got a sight to see. Add it to your bucket list if you haven't been there yet in Virginia City. Egg Celebration Week. It's our chance to thank and to celebrate the great farmers and ranchers out there, but also the folks who support agriculture as well, and the other businesses and industries that are supported by this. As we kind of raise our glass to the Highwood chocolate whiskey here, talk about why you think it's so important that we recognize agriculture and farmers and ranchers and the other industries that support them.
It's just kind of how I grew up. It was a way of life. You supported each other in a small community. If someone had something that someone needed, you'd buy it or trade for something like that. And I think it was an important step for me to bring some value to the egg industry. And we go through a lot of wheat here, and it's kind of fun to bring it in from the farm and have it shipped over to Fort Benton out of a bin and cleaned and milled and bagged and sent down to us. And I just trying to. Obviously, I grew up on a farm, but I also got a degree in agriculture from Montana State, and so I've kind of always had some deep roots and love and appreciation for the whole egg industry. So it's kind of fun to be able to do something to be a part of it and add some value to the commodities that are produced here in Montana.
When you mention education, of course, a big part of agriculture here in Montana as well. That gets me thinking, how much wheat, by the numbers, would you say you go through just here at the distillery alone?
Oh, that's a great question, and it's not a lot, all things considered. I thought it was gonna be more, but if we go through a truckload a year, that's moving a lot of wheat by the time you clean it and mill it, and it doesn't take a lot of wheat to you get a pretty high yield from the fermentation process to produce our product. So I was kind of surprised when I got into it. I thought we'd be using more, but it's not as much as you would think. It's not like have a whole section of land that's dedicated to me up there. Like that, so.
But that's those farm to table products that are just adding value and adding it right here in Montana and kind of cutting out the middleman at the same time as well. Well, and of course, it takes a lot to power a great business like this as well. So we once again want to thank our friends at Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative for keeping the lights on for us and for sponsoring Egg Celebration Week. Casey McGowan, Trailhead Spirits, thanks so much for letting us come down and try some of your great products here.
Absolutely. Thank you.